Welcome to the Been There Doing That podcast. I'm Robert Scrivener.
And I'm Gayla Scrivener.
We left the 9-to-5 grind, downsized, and our goal is to have freedom to live and to work from just about anywhere.
Welcome. We're glad you joined us for the Been There Doing That podcast.
Yes, we are.
You know, a few weeks ago, we were talking about traveling from our home in Missouri.
Yes, we did, and we done it.
To North Carolina.
Not without a few hiccups, though.
Oh, my goodness. We had, well, what I like to say is it's not an adventure without some challenges.
That's correct.
And we had a few challenges going out there. The wheel did not fall off.
It did not fall off.
But it could have.
It could have, and it didn't.
But it didn't.
I prevented that.
But maybe we could weave a little yarn and
say that it did,
yeah,
but it did not.
It did not.
It did not.
And we had some vapor locking issues.
Nothing that we couldn't handle, though.
Exactly.
We just work around them.
Exactly. Well, we thought today we would talk about our little adventure coming home from North Carolina.
Yes, it was an adventure coming home, too.
We had a delightful sightseeing, but we had some challenges. Different challenges.
And yeah, it always, it ain't an adventure unless you have a few challenges.
Exactly. And so we started our little adventure leaving the Biltmore Estate.
We tried,
but it took forever to get off the grounds.
We wanted to go get a picture of
our Jeep.
Messy Bessie is what I've been calling her.
There's got to be a better name than Messy Bessie.
Well, it's kind of a disaster inside there.
No, it is not.
Everything is organized.
It's organized. And I know that you want it even smaller, but my gosh, you've got to have your ham stuff.
Well, it's
not canned ham either. We box it up. It's boxed ham.
Let's just call it amateur radio.
That's right. But it's not messy. I think it's very organized. Yeah. We even have labels of what box is the kitchen.
We got the label gun out and labeled stuff. Kitchen.
So, exactly. And we've had people kind of laugh at that, but that's okay. We know which box is what.
Yep.
And
we tried to leave the Biltmore.
We did. And
we wanted to get a picture
of Messy Bessie
in front of the Biltmore Estate.
And we drove.
And we got there finally.
Thank goodness. And we met up with a couple of individuals and just chatted. There were Biltmore employees, traffic control, I guess you could say. And one of them took a picture of us when in front of the...
That was Richard.
Yep. Very nice. Everybody that we encountered at the Biltmore Estate was super nice.
Oh, yes.
So we ended up taking our picture, and then we were going to leave.
Yep. Thought it was a quick way out of there.
No, everything's one way.
Everything's one way, but it brought us right back down to where we left from.
Yeah, from
down
to our camping area.
Overland event.
And so then we circled back around. And kept following the signs. It took us 30 minutes to get off those grounds.
There's 30 miles of paved road on there.
We saw wildlife.
We did. A bunch of turkeys.
Tame life.
Real wild turkeys.
Yeah, not people like us.
Mm-hmm.
But
and deer.
We saw deer, turkey, and domesticated probably.
Panthers. No domesticated panthers.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we call
cats.
House cats. Domesticated panthers.
Yeah.
They had sheep and horses and we did find chickens.
Yes, and
because your dad asked, well, do they have chickens?
They have chickens, ducks. Yeah, they got ducks and chickens and goats.
Mm-hmm. So 30 minutes driving around, circling around the Biltmore Estate.
Finally got out.
But we didn't go far that day.
No, we didn't.
After a weekend at Overland Expo, we didn't have much internet, and I had some free time to where I wanted to hop on the internet, but we had a difficult time. And at first, we had some internet, but there were a lot of people at the event, and what I had heard was too many people trying to get onto one tower, and so it was kind of
like a helicopter couldn't lift off.
Yeah, and
too many people on it.
I gave up. I even though the event had an Oasis tent, and we did go to that once to hop on their internet because they had internet that everybody could use. But
yep.
We went to a whole, I don't know, however many miles, not very many.
Let's see. I want to say it was about 16, but it could have been more. Probably 30.
Well, we left, went to Walmart to restock on food. And we went to AutoZone.
Yes.
To get radiator.
Not radiator, no. Just regular hose clamps.
Hose clamps. And right there in AutoZone, installed our new awning that we bought from CVT Tents.
Didn't take long at all.
No. Oh, what did we see in that parking lot?
Well, it was the best thing ever.
I have never seen such
pastel colors on an RV.
It was
that old.
It was okay. Explain what kind of RV it was. I just had I have this mental image.
It's a older, probably a early 80s, late 70s GMC Class C motorhome. Probably 30 foot, if that.
What kind of custom paint job did they have on that?
Oh, it was pastel colors like Pepto-Bismol.
Pink. That was mainly
pea green, pastel, metallic pea.
I tried to do a sneak
light
camera shot of it.
Oh, you got it. And then the guy came out as he was going back
out of it.
Got done shopping. And he said, "If you ever need me to paint your Jeep, just give me a call." I said, "Sure thing. You'd be the first one."
So that we were humored. You meet some of the nicest people in part stores.
Yeah. They used to ride Hondas.
Well, we went to Asheville East KOA.
Yeah.
We got there by 11:30.
Drove a whole 30 miles is what it was.
Yeah. We didn't drive very far because we had decided to go ahead and get a camp spot with electricity.
Suck it up and just do some work.
Yep. Suck up somebody else's internet, actually.
Yeah.
And we worked on that Monday, showered, and actually that KOA had nice private showers. They
were nice.
They were like a whole room.
Just for a shower.
That you could lock up instead of several stalls with just shower curtains. So that was nice. And I used up quite a bit of hot water there.
It's nice to, clean off the dirt and dust that been collecting down at the expo. And
we did laundry. I took my computer and just,
Well, while you was doing laundry, I heard this rustling in the leaves.
What happened?
It sounded like somebody was walking around the tent.
Oh, yeah, you were trying to take a nap.
I was trying to take a nap, and I finally get up and see what the noise was. It was a herd of ducks. Just
are ducks called herds?
A gaggle.
I don't know.
Gaggle of ducks, herd of ducks, just rustling through the leaves, went down.
Wow. After we were at the KOA, the next morning, that was on a Tuesday that we had left KOA, and we started our journey on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yes, I've been wanting to do that for a while.
And how long is that? That's a national park.
It's ridiculously long. I think I want to say 400 miles.
Yeah, don't quote us on that.
Don't quote me on that, but I want to say 400 miles.
It's a national park.
Yes. just like the Natchez Trace Parkway.
That was a nice drive.
That was.
So I was looking forward to that.
It's 45 miles an hour. No commercial vehicles whatsoever.
No billboards.
No stop signs, really.
It's just beautiful.
Yep. Not cluttered up by all the mumbo jumbo on the streets in the city.
We started out at the visitor center. We just backtracked just a tad where we had gotten onto the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Wanted to visit the visitor center and get our passport, National Passport Park thing stamped.
Mm-hmm.
Cancellation.
Yeah, and we collect patches, and we get patches. A
whole big old quilt full of them.
We have 2 quilts, actually.
Well, we're working on several quilts. We might have a collection of quilts.
We have one that's a national park quilt that has only national park patches. That's hard to say. There's a lot of P's there.
You said it well.
And then another quilt that's been there doing that quilt that's just miscellaneous patches.
Random patches from places we visited.
Mm-hmm. And my mom and my Aunt Darlene did a fantastic job making those.
Yes.
And we just keep adding to them.
Keep adding to them. The quilts keep getting heavier and heavier.
They're warm. Of course, then we hang them up.
Yeah. We use them as sound barriers and wind barriers and to look at.
The Blue Ridge Parkway is perfect for our style of travel because we don't like to go above 55.
I don't like to go above 50 much.
No. You get the best gas mileage on
45 to 50.
Yeah, for that speed. But people seem to be impressed with your gas mileage on the Jeep.
Yes. Well, I just did since we got back, I did an average of everything, and it was 16.85 for the whole trip.
And what is usually the average of a vehicle of that stature?
Well, from the factory of that 98 Jeep Wrangler was 14 to 19, I believe. 14 city, 19 highway.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with no load, no rooftop tent, no winch, no extra weight.
We have a lot of weight.
Yes, we need a weight.
Not us, but
you took that wrong. Backtrack. We need to actually have the vehicle weighed and see how much it actually does weigh. Just out of curiosity, some people might want to know.
Like you.
My dad mainly.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
And
he would like to know.
We also
yes. Mind drifting.
Well, we continued down the Blue Ridge Parkway, but it's perfect for us because of the slowness and people that like to travel like us, that don't like to just zip on the freeway and just get there. It's more the journey instead of the destination because the whole trip is the journey.
They had plenty of pullouts.
Oh, yes.
Look at the vistas.
We stopped at a lot of them.
Why I see they called the Blue Ridge Parkway. They look blue.
It did look blue.
Fitting name for such a place.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Next.
So we took a lot of those. And we didn't have very many vapor lock issues.
No.
But I think that you were taking it easy and having preventative because when we would go up a mountain.
But this was also the first time I got to try out the heat shield I installed.
That's true.
At the Overland.
And
the new
injector.
Injector on cylinder number 3.
And we didn't have any trouble. Nope. We stopped, though, several times and
there were some long, curvy hills.
Yeah, you just said, we just need to stop and give the Jeep a break. But I never felt it hiccup, I guess.
Mm-mm.
So that was good. And we ended up staying at Linville Falls campground.
Yes, we did. Oh, that was a nice one.
We didn't have...
But before we got there, we actually went to Mount Mitchell State Park.
That's right.
the highest point east of the Mississippi River.
And we didn't stay there?
We did not stay there. We went and visited there.
Oh, okay.
Got our picture, walked up, did some video, did some pictures, selfie.
Oh, yeah. We do selfies a lot.
And a picture of the benchmark. I like taking pictures of the benchmarks. Survey discs, somebody calls them.
What did that... It was we met up with two college girls at a different mountain.
It was called an emblem.
An emblem. She called it a special emblem or something like that. But
the emblem up there. You mean a benchmark. Yeah. That thingy. But that was kind of neat. That's been on my list for a couple years. The high point of eastern United States.
So that is the highest point?
The highest point east of the Mississippi.
Okay.
In the lower 48.
That was Mount Mitchell. And there are people that strive to, and you keep track of, going to the highest points in every state.
Yes.
And is there a website or something or an app that you keep track of it on?
Ice Peak. It used to be Ice Peak is an app that I use. ICEPEAK.
And there was somebody recently that you told me about that got all of them?
Yeah, one guy for his 50th birthday wanted to go around to all 50 states and climb the highest points in all 50 states for his 50th birthday.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He got it done.
I'd have some fun on a couple of them. The other ones are like, this is a high point? Kansas? You got to be kidding.
Well... Every state's got to have a high point.
That's right.
And we were at Mount Mitchell.
The highest one east of the Mississippi.
And what state is that in?
North Carolina.
Okay.
And it was beautiful.
It was.
Above the clouds that day.
We ended up staying at Linville Falls campground.
Yes.
And you loved that. We did a little hiking to see the falls.
Campground host there was kind of snarky, you'd say, but he was a nice older feller.
Yeah,
he was. And no internet there, no hookups, no nothing, no cellular phone would work, no anything but ham radio. Ham radio worked.
Ham radio worked everywhere we went.
Everywhere we went.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the first night we got to try out our new awning.
That's right.
Lit it up.
And it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And it was also, I want to say, like within 1 or 2 nights of being a full moon there too. So it was well lit at night.
Yeah.
And it was peaceful. Oh, it was peaceful.
Yeah.
I like that.
That after being at that KOA on the east side of Asheville, we heard trains, and we were close
Sirens.
to the interstate
Highway.
But actually, that KOA was pretty, even though it was in town.
It was
because it was a little pocket of forest, even though it was, close to the noisy city.
Had a nice pond or lake or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. And we stayed at that campground, Linville Falls campground, for just one night, and we went on our way to up the Blue Ridge, over.
We were headed north, so you could say up.
Okay, because I'm typically
directionally challenged.
Yeah, kinda. I do like our map.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't the next time that, we didn't have much trouble, just more Blue Ridge Parkway. And then we had some vapor locking issues because at the very, very end of that day, because didn't we go to...
we got off at Boone, North Carolina and ate lunch. You wanted to eat. You were getting hangry.
Well, yes. I get hangry. Hangry. What is hangry?
Hungry and angry.
Yes.
So, when's the last time you ate? I want some food now. Okay.
Well, give me a break just for a second, because I pre-warn you when I tell you that
there's some subtle hints that you drop that I pick up on. You better get you some food. Actually,
those subtle hints is I need to eat, and I need to eat now. That's not really subtle.
That's just come directly.
I just need to go. Find a restaurant right now. I wasn't in the mood to. I wasn't. Didn't we stop at a restaurant? I don't know.
Stopped at Darby's.
Yeah.
Did some work. Was back in cellular phone territory and internet.
Mm-hmm.
And those salted caramel cookies were pretty good.
Oh. Yep.
I was bouncing off the walls for a couple minutes.
Yeah, we hadn't had sugar for a while.
Yeah.
Working on the road, it sometimes you just have to stop for a couple of hours and just
get it done.
Just get it done. Well, where did we go next?
Oh, I think we went up towards West Jefferson, North Carolina. That was it was okay getting out. It took forever to get out of Boone, North Carolina. They had road construction. Then we turned onto another road that had road construction.
Oh, that's
turned onto another road that had road construction. We one more turn and we'd be back where we started.
Well, that's why the Jeep had a tough time.
Yes, it was hot that day. It was back up in the 80s that day, mid-80s.
Stop and go.
Stop and go. The traffic ain't moving. Vapor lock.
I think that was the only day that we were just kind of frustrated. I started out with a little bit of hangry and
just progressed from there, and you're really hangry.
And just getting kind of tired, the road construction. So
yeah,
but we still, even though
we're still married,
that was not. We didn't have disputes. We were just kind of worn out.
Nobody yelled at anybody. Nobody,
just kind of worn out.
And we're still married. We did make it to a Grayson Highlands State Park. Grayson Highlands State Park in Virginia. We didn't even know we was in Virginia.
No, we were on some back roads.
Back roads, twisty, curvy, and finally got to where there was some internet because it is kind of spotty, and it said we was in Virginia. We didn't even know when we crossed over.
Yeah, because we got off the Blue Ridge Parkway because we needed to start making our way back, but we had intended to. We already went to Mount Mitchell, and you wanted to go to the highest point in Virginia.
Yes, Mount Rogers.
And that's why we...
And they had camping at Grayson Highlands. That's what... It has hiking there and camping. They also had wild horses there.
I'm sorry, they're not wild horses. They're ponies.
Okay, so...
They're short horses.
Short horses are ponies. Wild ponies.
Because in North Carolina over at the Outer Banks, those are wild horses.
Those were bigger. Those were grown-up ponies.
Yeah. But these other ones had short legs.
But they had electricity there, which we wanted to stop and work for at least, one night. And had internet, LTE internet there on Verizon and Sprint. And then we got to decide, well, let's hike up to Mount Rogers, highest point in Virginia. And it happened to be partially on the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, that was a 9+ mile hike, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I used that new GPS thing that we, Gaia GPS.
That was recommended to us.
And used that, downloaded the app, and it tracked our trail and gave us altitude and miles per hour, average speed, the whole trip length and everything. And it was 4.32 miles one way.
You just tracked it going up?
Up there, yeah. With the elevation change, I think around 1,200 feet climbed.
It was beautiful. We saw so many different landscapes. Yeah. Going up there, and it was not an easy trail in some parts.
Some parts. I would say it was moderate in some parts, not difficult.
And
other parts were just walk in the park.
Well, yes, but I think going over some of those boulders were kind of hard.
They were big boulders, yes.
Yes. And I'm just so glad that you and I had lost quite a bit of weight the last couple of months.
That made it easier.
Man, I didn't feel winded or anything like that. But then
by the end of the day,
we had
little sore.
Because
we're not used to walking 9 miles a day.
A little sore, but nothing a good night's sleep didn't cure.
Better the next morning.
Yes. Brand new.
It's like, sleep it off.
On the trail, we met 2 young college girls.
Yes,
they're sweet. They lapped us.
Yeah. They passed us on the way up, then somehow they passed us on the way down, too.
Somehow.
Before we even got up there.
Yeah. They were cute. And
I kept laughing at us. If you straighten up, you'll live to be this age someday.
Yeah. And then we met some other folks on the trail, but one guy was how old?
He was 83. 83 years old out there hiking the Appalachian Trail.
And he was trying to keep up with his
girlfriend.
Yeah, how old is she?
She was 87.
Wow.
She was out running him.
You know what?
Well, I didn't see her running, so she was
out walking
him.
You know what?
And he was a brisk walker.
I think that
he didn't have his walker with him, but he was walking pretty briskly for an 83-year-old.
That was inspiration for me.
Yeah. You said you want to do that when you're 70. Well, look at them.
I know.
They're in their 80s.
I've decided that I want to do
when you're 90.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to keep going. I want to have that spunk. So watch out. Watch out. But
watch out, woman.
Being on the Appalachian Trail was fun. I think I'm getting my courage up to walk more of it. So I know you say that you want to
do the whole thing.
From
Springer Mountain all the way up to Georgia to Maine.
The only thing I'm scared of is sleeping
with the bears.
With no protection.
Well, with a
it's like a soft taco.
Sleeping bag, you'll be a soft taco.
Exactly. I don't know. Oh, well, I guess you only live once.
That's right. YOLO. What?
That we weren't expecting to stay at Grayson Highlands State Park for as long as we did, but when we went up to the visitor center, we met up with the gentleman that at the gift shop
runs it. He said it'd be planned for a 4 to 6 hour hike.
And he was explaining how to get there because that was not the high point that you could just drive to and have a short hike to.
Mount Mitchell was.
Yes, Mount Mitchell was pretty easy. You could drive
within 300 yards of the high point in Mount Mitchell.
Yeah, but not Mount Rogers. And he said how pretty it was going to be, and then when you get close to the top and you're almost there, it's going to smell like
Christmas.
Christmas.
Smells like Christmas.
And so that intrigued us. It's like
we had to go find out.
We had to go.
Gotta go now.
And it was remarkable how the landscape changed.
I'm not going to tell you what it looked like up there because that would just spoil everything. You got to go hike it yourself.
You got to go hike it yourself.
It's unbelievable. Different. It is totally different than the rest of it.
So we stayed at the state park that night. Again. And
slept well.
We sure did. We sure did. And then we got back on the road the next day. Kind of disappointed that we had to go west.
Yeah.
2 weeks was just not long enough.
No.
And we started traveling more briskly.
Oh, let's see. I think it's roughly 750 miles from home, what we call home, which theoretically should take us 3 to 4 weeks to get there. Mm-hmm. But we had to make it in 2 days.
Yeah. Well.
And we didn't go very far.
Yeah.
That first, 3 days. We had to be there in 3 days.
We, the next night, we traveled to Cumberland Gap, National Historic Site.
Yes. We made it actually to Western Virginia, not West Virginia, but Western Virginia, around the Kentucky-Tennessee area. Middlesboro, Kentucky, actually was the closest entrance to Cumberland Gap National Historic Site, but the campground was just east of there.
And that was a nice campground and very nice lady that checked us in.
Yeah.
And because we went in there and it said, "Do you have any camping available?"
Well, yes, we do.
But no electric sites. There's 2 rows of electric sites, and then the rest were non-electric. And we decided, let's go ahead and stay there.
We got solar panels, we got batteries. We'd been just charged up for 2 days, so why not?
Why not? And that place had fantastic internet.
Yes, it did. Surprisingly. And I think we're procrastinating on wanting to go back home. So we decided to spend another night.
Yeah, we spent 2 days because we said, let's work. But the clouds were rolling in. We had terrible solar.
Yeah.
So I was kind of worried about charging things up.
Actually, I just started the vehicle and charged it up from there in parallel. So that's okay.
Yeah. And
we had enough battery charge to run the refrigerator and charge your computer and my computer and stuff for several times. So we made it.
Well, things that you have to think about, and I know that you tell me, when I'm working on my computer at home, I'm just accustomed to keeping it plugged in all the time. And if I'm plugged into the inverter, you tell me to turn it off or close it down because it's like
a bucket with a hole in it. You're never really going to fill it up.
So I have to change my way of thinking, and I'll work on the computer until the battery is really low. Then I take a break, shut it down, and charge it up. And actually, it charges faster that way because you're not running it down at the same time.
Not trying to stay on and charge it at the same time. Yep, that's it.
Well, we met a very interesting neighbor.
Oh, did we?
And
his name was Kenny.
He was a true traveler.
Oh, yes.
Adventurer. I think
happy feller, too.
Happy. But
I hope we run into him again.
I know. He had stories. I mean, he rode his bicycle all across the Yukon.
Yeah, he rode across... it took him 90 days to ride his bicycle across the United States, the Trans-America Bike Trail, which I did not know they had the Trans-America Bike Trail. Wow. And took him 90 days. He said he wasn't in any hurry. And rode his bicycle across the Yukon of Alaska, or Alaska-Yukon territory up there. And between the frostbite and...
the
grizzly bears, he probably shouldn't even be standing there, but he was happy to be.
Mm-hmm.
He was happy to be there.
He truly just wanders.
Yeah.
And he's gone to every national park.
Been to every national park there is. Now he's going to, the smaller stuff, all the different state parks and stuff like that. But he was originally raised 50 miles from the Cumberland Gap area in Virginia.
But he does not stay in one spot very long.
About a month, moves on.
And he was so funny because he came over to our campsite and he said, "I bet you guys were wondering why I was just shaking my head and cussing."
Yeah. What?
I was like,
I didn't even hear you.
I did. But he's so accustomed to having the campsite. He's like, "Why is it so busy? Why is it so busy?" And I was like, "Oh.
Where's all these people coming from?" And he usually has it to himself, but not that weekend.
And his vehicle is a van of some sort.
He had kind of like a smaller minivan with a panel van.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was a Ford product. And so after his looking at his van and everything, it was quite the setup he had in there. He actually had a built-in bed in the back of it. And then he would have his little camper stove and backpacker stove is what he had. He didn't have much in there. He was lived a very minimalistic life.
Mm-hmm. He was, or he is, I would guess, and excuse me if I guess incorrectly.
He looked very well for his age.
I think that he was in his 60s, though.
Yeah, I'd say 60s to mid-60s.
And he was a sound engineer for a rock band.
Back in the 80s, 70s and 80s down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so we had gone to some of the places that he's gone. He loves to hike. He likes to be remote. And I wish we would have asked him to interview.
We should have.
But I don't know. I think I was kind of timid.
Yeah. Well, put a headphone on you and a microphone in front of you. See how timid you are now. Look at you. Look at you.
But I really enjoyed listening to him talk.
Yeah.
And maybe he's alone a lot because he really liked to talk.
Oh, could be.
I loved it. I loved his stories.
Didn't have to say much.
Mm-mm. And that was a nice campground.
I'd go back there.
And we stayed an extra day because the internet was so good.
Yeah, and we just sat there.
And I actually got
a lot of work done.
A lot of work done, and we did not hike. We didn't look around.
We didn't even move. We went to the showers and the bathroom, and that was about it.
It was nice, but it was so cloudy.
It was cloudy.
And storms were going to roll in.
And we knew that.
But we wanted to stay still.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we packed up everything that evening and
all we had to do
went
was
to bed.
Put away the tent.
Yeah.
Everything else was already packed.
And as soon as we zipped up to go to bed, I heard a little bit of sprinkle. And
yeah, it didn't last very long at all.
But then in the morning,
2, 3 o'clock in the morning is when it started raining, and it did not stop until we got to almost Missouri.
Yeah, we were
all the way from Virginia to Missouri.
So that's when we broke out our
rain
gear. That was the only time we didn't need it at any events. It was that last little leg of the trip, and
worked good. Mine did.
Mine did too. It was very good. Dry. And
I never really had rain gear at all, ever. And this is my first, and I like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it in the rain, but using the rain gear in the rain kept me dry.
What did we do? Oh, we went to Cumberland Gap Visitor Center.
Yep.
And
we did a little visitor center, watched a little video in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Have you been up to Pinnacle?" And I was like, no. Well, maybe we should. Well, it's only a 4-mile drive. Well, let's go. We're already here.
We've gone this far. Let's go a little bit further. And it was a cloudy day. She's like, oh.
You may see clouds. You may see for hundreds of miles.
And we saw clouds.
We saw clouds. And, well, actually, we saw fog.
Yeah.
It was worth the drive up, and it was really, really crooked.
Yeah.
It was curvy, twisty. Nothing over 20 foot allowed on that narrow, steep incline driving up. Going around the corner, the back tires actually spun on the Jeep.
Mm-hmm. It was a little slick.
It was a little slick. I was wondering if we was going to take traction or I was going to have to put it in 4-wheel drive. And it was slick.
And we were in 2 states at once.
Yes. We were in Kentucky and Virginia.
That was fun.
It was. Standing in 2 states at the same time and knowing it.
I'm glad that they marked that sidewalk.
Yeah. Got a picture. And it was beautiful up there, even with the fog. I would like to go back when it's not so foggy and see what it looks like. But the fog gave it kind of an eerie feel, and it was just nice.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. And then we made our way down the mountain and
to Middlesboro, Kentucky.
And we were hungry.
Home of Lee Majors.
And so we stopped.
Waffle King.
Just because you like the name.
Well, we don't have a Waffle King in Missouri that I know of.
It was a was not fast food.
No, but it was good.
It was good food.
And we had pecan pie.
Yeah, you ate my pecan pie.
You ordered it.
I know. I wanted
It was good.
a dessert for breakfast.
It was good.
And we needed to get back, unfortunately. So you drove and drove and drove.
We drove all the way from, Virginia. Well, Cumberland Gap, actually.
All the way across Kentucky.
Yep.
All the way across Kentucky.
And ham radio was working the whole time because I talked to the fellers on the way home.
Yeah.
Where you at now?
So.
Well, your sound's coming in good.
Yeah, they were excited about that because you were actually traveling, not stationary.
Your mobile is working stupendously tonight.
And that was good. But talking all about this.
What do you mean that was good? It's always great.
Ham radio.
Ham radio.
Always great. Our trip, as we started out saying, it's not an adventure unless there's challenges.
Yeah.
And, so far we haven't really had any challenges.
Well, the lug nuts and...
Well, not on the trip home.
The vapor locking.
We had one vapor locking on the way home. Lug nuts was on the way out there. And on the way home...
So why does there have to be something on the way home?
I don't know, but we were getting pretty darn close to home. Mm-hmm. Thinking, okay, we're on the straightaway.
The Jeep was running perfect that day. It did not make a hiccup at all.
And
could have been the cooler weather.
We decided to drive overnight and just
suck it up and get home at 3 o'clock in the morning or so.
Yeah. And we were in Missouri, and then it happened.
It did.
It came out of nowhere.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
And that's what it was.
Oh, it was scary.
Antlers, 55 miles an hour. Front end of the Jeep, hit a deer.
Poor thing. It was sad. You had to pull it out of the road. And I say poor deer. I'm sorry for the deer. It was 8 point.
It was an 8-point deer.
Mm-hmm. And
or buck, however you want to put that.
He did not suffer.
No, it was instant.
It was instant. And thank heavens that we had a non-stock bumper.
Yeah, 4-inch channel iron bumper with a winch on the front with 1-inch mounting brackets. Didn't even put a dent in it.
Not in the bumper, a tiny dent
a very tiny dent where his head hit in the grill, and that was it.
And the only damage was one of the
driving lights.
Driving lights was broken, and that's not the regular headlight.
No, that's an aftermarket thing stuck in there.
Which, by the way, you wanted to.
I was just thinking about new ones, and now I guess
you need to.
I might ought to think about upgrading them after 14 years.
So that kind of shook us up a little bit, and we were not.
It was 5 minutes after midnight.
5 minutes after midnight.
When that happened.
And about 3.5 hours away from home.
120 miles away from home.
And
roughly.
And luckily, we weren't hurt.
It did not bust the radiator. It did not crack the windshield. It did not set off the airbag. And we were fine.
Yes.
And it was on a straightaway instead of curves and stuff like that. And we were driving 55. The speed limit is 65s. Mm-hmm. So
we had a lot going for us.
Yep.
So I'm very pleased that we weren't hurt, and I'm still sorry about the deer.
Yeah. It was a big one.
It was a big one. And that was our biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And we made it home, and we're all in one piece.
Yep.
And you washed up the Jeep, thank goodness.
Yeah, got all the blood off of it, all the evidence.
And the biggest lesson that we had learned on this whole trip, what was the biggest lesson that you think you'd learned?
Slow down.
Yes.
Like, don't travel so fast.
To plan a longer time away. If we're going to go to an event, it needs to be not go out there and come back.
If we are driving 200 miles a week, that's fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
200 miles in a week. That's moving pretty quick.
In order to work and to travel, you've got to slow it down.
Yeah.
And enjoy where you're at, and not worry about trying to hit highlights of seeing things and meeting deadlines for work.
It ain't gonna happen.
Exactly.
There's gonna be a give or take.
Yeah, so we need to plan for a longer time away, and I think we got out the calendar and looked at next year of the
already marked out days.
Yeah, I think we have 3 months.
Actually, we marked off months.
Exactly. So we would love for you to join us on social media, actually, and see some of our pictures and connect with us.
Heck, tell your friends about us.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Recommend us if you like it. And if you don't, still recommend us. Either way.
And so join us on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Those are the 2 social medias that we're the most active on.
Sometimes we'll post one on YouTube. We'll do a video every once in a while, but mainly Instagram and Facebook. And
our handle or our address has been there doing that on both of those. So, and that's our website too. So it should be pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
And
we're also on iTunes.
Well, yes, we are. So subscribe.
And what's that other one we're on?
Stitcher.
That's right.
And
just
Google Play. Actually, Google Play, too.
We're on a lot of them.
Did you know that?
No.
I set that all up.
Well, you're sneaky like that.
I know. It's part of my job.
Wrap it up, Kayla.
All right. Thanks for joining us. And until next time.
We'll catch you later.